is pretty much consensus across the board that this will be a record delivery number. So let's remember this.
Yes.
Last quarter was a record. The past 2 quarters sequentially have been a record. Last quarter, Q1, Tesla delivered a little under 185,000 vehicles, which was a record and huge for Q1, let me say. This quarter, low-end predictions are like 193 deliveries. As high as 210,000, but 200,000 is kind of where the consensus is lying, the median's lying. And so it's got to hit that 200 mark. It's got to hit that 200 mark. If it hits 210, that means it's on its way to what many analysts predict potentially a 900,000 delivery a year. But beyond that, these delivery numbers, I'm a little bit worried that people are already expecting a record-breaking quarter, and the best case scenario is it's just, okay, that's what we expected.
Yep.
Worst case scenario is they come in under 200, and I do think if they come under 200, the stock does not do well.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on how you think it'll play out?
If it's over 210, this stock goes absolutely insane. And to your point, I think if it does come in under 200, it might be rough seas for Tesla. But I do think that the number comes in over 200. We've talked about this, and you know, the chip shortage being an issue, and it is an issue still. But the worst of it could very well be behind us. And demand for Tesla vehicles and vehicles in general, new vehicles in particular, has not slowed down whatsoever. You know, as soon as they're being put out, they're being sold. So I think that Tesla's still in very much good shape. We look at the chart here, and I think that there's definitely a case to be made for a potential breakout. You could make the argument here that we're looking at a bull flag pattern for Tesla. So if we get good numbers, a very big breakout over 710 could be coming for Tesla. It had some attempts to try to make a run towards 700, but I think it could very well just laugh at 700 and go right to 710 on some really good news about those orders. So I will say, though, Fat Man Zoom, that I think that there's definitely some risk involved here as well. We've seen some like mixed reviews about what's going on in China and the China sales and stuff like that, which is a huge part of their revenue and their sales as well. So that's the only thing that kind of like has me, I guess, a little bit nervous. But for the most part, I think that I am confident that they'll come in over that 200K number.
All right, what's your prediction? How many deliveries?
You want an exact number?
Yeah, I predict that it's 203,500.
I'm going 203,499. No, I'm just kidding. 201,400. 201,400.
All right, guys. Let's get your predictions in. Maybe we'll get you a free stock.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding. No, we won't. We won't, actually.
We haven't done that in a minute.
We haven't done that in a minute. No, guys, let us know. What do you guys predict? Let us know in the chat. What's the deal? What do you guys think? And realistic. Don't come with no BS. 250, 300,000. Let's be real, people. But the one thing I do want to point out as a last note, a lot of people were making a big deal about the numbers for China and deliveries in May.
Yeah.
A thing I did not realize was there were far more cars produced in China, in Shanghai, but instead of them exporting them out of Shanghai, they were actually exported out of Europe. So some of the numbers that should have been for China were put into Europe. So the number was a little bit skewed because they didn't deliver them, they just produced them.
Gotcha.
So that's one thing that's like, you got to be careful when that was a huge dip in the stock. When they announced
it's a big headline.
Yeah, and people were like freaking out. Is this the beginning of the end? Nobody talked about that. I didn't even know that until today.
Yeah.
So that's something interesting.
Mainstream media, man, get you every time.
I personally, though, I'd be hesitant to add on. I'll hang on to what I have, but I think the stock is not going to have a great week next week. Best case, it goes sideways. I don't think it ends the week next week above 700.
I would be very nervous to buy in right now. If you're already in, that's one thing, but I think I would be very nervous, and I think it's very risky to just buy right now. Could you do it and make some money? I think it's certainly possible, but the risk is for sure real on this thing.